Do you guys want to see how to shoot a commercial in your bedroom for Instagram? Cool. Yeah, I want to show it to you. Check it out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to make you watch it on my phone. I'll play it now. Hey, what's up? My name's Andrew, you can call me Pooch, and I'd like to welcome you to the Less Lonely channel, a place for creatives to feel less lonely on their journey, their creative journey. As they learn, grow, struggle, and wrestle with the idea of being creative, I'm here for you, and I hope you're here for me too. Maybe you're not going outside as much as you used to. Maybe you're not doing as much, hanging out with friends as much, going out to concerts or bars or restaurants as much, and you have all this sweet time on your hands. What are you going to do with it? Well, if you're anything like me, you've probably spent time diving into your craft, trying to get better, trying to grow, and trying to learn. And so today, I want to show you how to make a commercial for Instagram or for whatever in your bedroom with very limited supplies. I'm going to run down a list and show you what I used, but I truly believe all you really need is a camera, a subject, a blank wall, and maybe a light. Use the window. So let's talk space, let's talk gear, let's talk about actually how I shot the video, some things that I had to keep in mind. And last but not least, let me show you my work. Let me show you what I did, where I feel like I did a good job, where I feel like I did a bad job, so you can take some notes and learn from me. So let's start right now talking about space. If you've watched any of my videos, then you've seen my home studio. I always do the quotes because I feel like I'm lying. Yeah, it's a studio, I do all my work in here, and it's in my house, but in another sense, and maybe even a bigger truth, it's just a second bedroom in my house that my wife has graciously let me turn into a studio. Either way, it's an awkward rectangle. Well, it's not awkward, it just is a rectangle. It measures out to about 11.5 feet wide and 15.5 feet long. And the more you add bodies, gear, lights, furniture, that rectangle gets even smaller, really uncomfortable and cramped. And speaking of gear, let's talk about what I used for this video. First up, I used a backdrop. Now, I've been putting off this purchase for a while, but this stuff back here might look cool for a YouTube video, but definitely doesn't look good for client work. I needed something. Next, obviously, you're gonna need a camera. I'm using the Canon EOS R. I shoot everything in log. If you don't have that, use whatever you got. Some guys are crushing it, making better videos than I am with their phones, so you could do that too, I know. Next on the list are these clamps. They help with holding things down, lifting props up, clamping my backdrop. They're just all around great. Obviously, we can't forget about a tripod. I'm using this Manfrotto tripod. I really like it. I think that the head that the camera actually sits on is really nice. It gives me really fluid shots. I think it's called a fluid drag system. I don't know. Just get something that looks smooth. To show off your cool product, you're gonna need a Lazy Susan. That's what they're called. Why do they call them Lazy Susans? That's rude. What did Susan ever do to them? And last but not least, you're gonna need a product or something to shoot. Okay, seems pretty straightforward, right? Not a whole lot of stuff. There's a lot of other little things that you could use. Obviously, you need some kind of lighting setup. If you don't have studio lights, you can open up a window and get the natural light in. You can use gaff tape and bounce boards and the whole works. Pretty much whatever you have at your disposal, I recommend using. Because we're making videos in our house, and that usually means we're on a budget, but you can make things work on a budget. All right, let's talk application. So when I start any kind of project like this, there's a few things that I know I need. One is a shot list. If you're unfamiliar with that, it's just simply like a collection of all of your ideas, like usually either mapped out with like text or sometimes people draw them. Either way, it's just making sure you have all of the shots that you want in your video. And the next thing I need is to know where this video is gonna live. This client has a presence on Instagram, and so I knew I wanted to shoot this video vertically. Don't cringe. It's just the way things are. If you're making videos for people, you're gonna make them for social media, and you might just find yourself shooting vertical. One of the ways that I solved for this was by putting the camera on the tripod plate horizontally. So if this is the camera facing you, like this is the lens, the tripod plate was actually going this way. at the base of the camera. Loosened up the head, turned it sideways, locked it back into place, and I had some vertical video. The next big challenge I had was making these bags float. I watched a video by Daniel Schiffer, and it was just like a magician was working, and I was like, I can do that too. So I spent hours setting up the shots and getting everything ready, only to fail. I needed to teach myself something quick. So here's how I did it. The very first thing I did was get a still image of just the backdrop. Just the backdrop, no bags, it was lit right. I needed to get something where I could mask over it. After that, I took each bag and shot it individually on the Lazy Susan. I put a little bit of gaff tape and fishing line right underneath the Lazy Susan and pulled it so that the bag would rotate. So after some fine tuning, some rotoscoping, and also some just finagling because it's not perfect, I got them to float, and it looks really sick. I'm really proud of that shot. All right, let's talk about what I learned. Y'all know this wouldn't be a Less Lonely video without some healthy self-critique. I really like to evaluate the work that I've done and show my work so that you guys can learn from my mistakes. So let's just dive right in. Number one, lighting is still everything. No matter how much research and learning I do around the subject of lighting, I honestly never feel like I've learned enough, and I don't feel like I'm confident in it. Every time I go to light something, I'm changing what I did before. Sometimes I get the results and sometimes I don't. I'll say this, going from regular 24 frames per second to 60 frames per second for slow-mo is tough because I have to change my shutter speed. Going from 50 to 125 is pretty drastic. I lose a lot of light. And so with that, I need to walk more light in. I need to push more light onto my subject. I feel like I did that really well in some areas, and in some areas it just kind of falls short. Number two, try big ideas, but know your limits. Making those bags float needed to happen. I had the shot in my head as soon as I started talking about this project, and I knew I could learn it from people. But I need to be honest here. It was way more challenging than I thought it was going to be. I lost a ton of hours in the edit trying to get that just right, and even now there's still areas that I really want to tweak and change. And here's what kind of really pains me the most. 5 seconds of screen time equated to at least 5 to 15 hours of learning and editing time just to get those things to float. You see it for so short amount of time and it kills me. Was it worth it? Of course it was. It turned out great and the client loved it. It's like, man, this is so cool. But next time I'm gonna budget more time for challenging ideas like this. And if I haven't done it before, I should probably test it out a couple times before I try to do it for a client. Last but not least, the third thing I learned was just be flexible. You can always go into a project with the best plans and ideas, but the truth is those plans can change. The video I shared with you guys today was actually a reshoot. We originally went with a white backdrop with completely different shots, different music, different pacing, but the more time we spent in the edit and the more time we spent going back and forth reviewing, we just knew we could do better. Being flexible was like the one thing that allowed me to try new ideas, to still have fun, even though I had to reshoot the whole thing over again with a different backdrop, and ultimately make my client extremely happy. And that's it. Everything I tried, everything I used, and everything I learned while making a commercial in my home studio. What do you guys think? Do you think you do better than me? Do you think that I had some good points? Would you change how I did things? Let me know in the comments down below. I really want to hear from you. Like I said, I'm here for you, and I hope that you're here for me on my creative journey as well. But seriously, if this video helped you, inspired you, or encouraged you to start shooting videos and making commercials in your bedroom, then please consider leaving a like, dropping a comment down below, subscribing if you haven't already, and even hitting that notification bell. All right, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Here's to feeling less lonely. Peace.